Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day in which I went to bed early and woke up at 4:30 and been out of bed since 5. Yay! The fan is on in the window, my arm is kind of sore and hurting, and I'm going to turn off my Bluetooth speaker, because otherwise I got to charge it. Well, sooner than I
Power off.
normally would. I am going to, first off, thank everybody that has left me comments in the past 24 hours, which is Chris Ryan, thumbs up, Eli, P-A-R-Z-Y-C-K, I do not know how to pronounce that, and Jesse Koskinen. So thank you, all three of you that left me comments in the past 24 hours. I just wanted to do it now. In case I forgot. So thumbs up there. And of course, with my arm sore, I did not change the number of people that are up here, and so they're not different people, but still, these are Patreon patrons. Thank you each and every one of my Patreon patrons. Thank you each and every person that has donated to my I can speak English, PayPal, and thank you to each and every person that has donated to my GoFundMe. I still have no ideas what's going on. The sword of Damocles is hanging over my head. I'm still somewhat upset now at my housemates because the garbage gets taken out on a Friday here, and they showed up on Friday pretty much just enough time to do some packing and then fill up the garbage can, and then they've been gone. So the garbage can is full. I got no place to put the garbage that I have to take care of. So joy. But past that little microaggression, complaining about that, life is life. I am depressed because of lots of things happening, with the house, with my health, with all sorts of things, with this going on. And my left leg has a very, very sore spot that is getting larger on in medical terms, that would be my left lateral malleolus, which just means that's the outer side of my left ankle. I still contend, after 15 years in healthcare and all this, that this is just guild language to keep people from understanding. They say, oh, you have to use Latin because superior always means this and inferior always means this. And then they say that because they then mention the fixed frames of reference. When you have a fixed frame of reference, up, down, left, and right also work. Latin is just there because it's guild language. But it's so much more tender and painful and swollen. So things aren't good in my left leg. And I am now fully going under I don't think it's cellulitis. I don't know what it is. I just hope it's not terminal. Whatever it is. I mean, odds are it's not. There are 1,001 things that it could be. And out of that, the number of actually terminal things is small, but it is there. So joy on that. Yay! So yeah, which leads into one of the things I have to do today is call the business office of my local hospital, because we've been using Medicare to treat this, which means I'm on the limb for, I don't know if that's even a phrase, I'm on whatever for the charges that have been come up that Medicare doesn't pay, which means I need to contact them and do the paperwork for everything I need to do so I don't have to pay for it. So I gotta call them up and then walk up to the business office, most likely, because I'm gonna need help filling out the paperwork, and then go from there. But I don't want to spend the rest of my day in the emergency room, but my left leg is not getting better. 2023 has been an awful, awful year. a capstone to a life that has sucked. On the one hand, yes, I'm still alive. My wife had a terrible life, which is why I did my damnedest to make sure that my marriage with her, as she failed, I did my best I could for her, which was nowhere near what I wish I could have done in retrospect, but I was busy falling apart under the pressure of watching her die. But the difference between her not marrying me and marrying me is I loved her and she loved me, and that made everything at least a little bit better. And when I say her life sucked, I mean her life sucked. She and her mother, she was well into her teens before she was able to get medical treatment for her non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Nobody would listen to her or her mother. She had grapefruit-sized tumors that were all and about, and they had to open her up for exploratory surgery. Before I even met her, she was in bad shape, because one of the things they did for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma was blast you with radiation and huge amounts of chemo, which saved your life right then, but then you died before you were 40. And so she was in the last wave of people that got that kind of treatment. They treat it differently so that people don't die like that, which is why she had heart issues. And when we got married, a little bit after that, she had to have heart surgery to replace 2 of her heart valves, and the other 2 failed, which were being treated medically, and her heart was just a mass of scar tissue. She had a horrible life, and even though I did my best for her, she went from a strong, independent woman to someone whom I had to help walk to the bathroom. And then she died on a hospital bed in our living room on hospice with me there waiting for it to happen. I'm still alive. My life has sucked, but I'm still alive at 60. She isn't. So my life has sucked, but I'm still able to put one foot in front of the other. But I can't even remember where I was going with that. Thumbs up. I still do have some things on the side here I want to talk about. One of them is, it made me laugh inside. I was at the doctor's office, and the doctor used the phrase, when I talked about something that was painful, he said, "Oh, that's one spicy meatball." And I laughed inside, because one of the things that I had been thinking of, really on a stupid level, was we should get rid of all these various types and systems and just go under one unified system to tell people when there's an issue, and that's the spicy meatball scale. So if someone says, they're talking about the weather, and they just say, "Oh, well, today it's going to be just a meatball of a rain tonight." You know it's going to be mild. It's not even a spicy meatball. It's just a meatball. But when it's bad, you've got a spicy meatball. And if it gets worse, you've got, one spicy meatball. And then the worse it is, the greater your Italian accent, until, the stereotypical Italian accent. And then you get to the end. The worst one is, "That's the one spicy meatball." And you got to shake your hand with it. And so having the doctor say, "Oh, that's one spicy meatball," it was very cool. So thumbs up for that. What else do I have? I'm going to mention this one, even though now that I've been laughing about spicy meatballs, I have been dealing with longer issues of depression and melancholy at night. I have been really missing my dead wife, and it's been kind of rough. I mean, I have cyclical depression. It used to be on a solid every 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and it was just like clockwork as I went along. And so that was fun, but at least it was something that I could plan on and deal with. As I've gotten older, it's gotten more random, and it's still rockier, but it comes in swells, and I've been dealing with that swell, and it's just not been fun up inside of here on top of everything else that's been happening. So joy on that. But one thing that I really want to talk about is way back when, a couple months back, when I was doing one of the solo RPG things, one of the dungeons that I had to go in, and I laughed inside of my head at this, was the Tomb of the Flaming Queen. And it was, that's just a name, and it was just a dungeon, but I was laughing inside of my head at that silly name. Later on, I made a tweet about how, there should be a lich in D&D or some fantasy game where instead of being a lich that's on conquest, it is just a flaming homosexual of a lich, just massively gay. And the entire band of skeletons and mummies and all that that they have as their entourage, they don't really do things like get swords and go out and take care of people. No, they're busy with their bondage and leather gear and all stuff like that. The Tomb of the Flaming Queen is, the guy is just a flaming homosexual, massively gay. And all of his skeletons are, and that is the Tomb of the Flaming Queen. When the adventurers get down there, he's just, no bone, all bones, no meat, but it's like, oh, how did you like the adventure? We made it so much fun. And you have to fight through things to get there, but how do you kill something that's already dead? So you didn't hurt the skeletons on the battle, and you get there, and it's like, yay, you made it, I hope you had fun. And, it's like, we're not going to fight you, there's no need to fight. And then eventually the people end up learning, like Shibari from some of the mummies and such like that, because the Tomb of the Flaming Queen is not a bad place to be. And in fact, if you're compatible, there will always be a place at their table for you. So, thumbs up on that. Anyway, what else do I have? The only thing left is just talking about Wizards of the Coast and Ironsworn. I have been reading more Ironsworn. They make it a hard read, and I don't know why. Because talking about moves and all that, everything they talk about is a move, and that's just, it's weird the way they talk about it, and the assets are weird, and that you have to have cards. The printed cards for it, it's nice that they put backs that you can cut out, but if you don't do that, it makes for a whole bunch of extra printing. And you can either try to line the stuff up on thicker cardstock or just print it out and then glue it on the cardstock, I imagine. But it's slightly less intimidating. I'm trying to go through the main book. The little, I don't have it, I went and put it back, but that one book that I showed that was a smaller, of course I can't remember the word, ADHD, but I always worry about dementia. But the book that is it starts with an R that talks about the other book. Makes the main book easier because you've got this book. Ugh, my brain this morning. So hopefully it's going to continue to get less intimidating because it is something I'd like to show off for the channel. Thumbs up for that. Yay! And then the only other thing that I've got is nothing. Well, actually, Wizards of the Coast, and Wizards of the Coast is doing something that other places are doing, only they're doing it in a way that's not as good. And what I mean by that is, if you go to the Wizards of the Coast site to buy their books, you're buying the digital version that goes only, that you can only view on their platform. You don't get a PDF. You have to use it on their platform, of which you pay a subscription for. So if you stop paying you for your subscription, you can't access those PDFs that you bought. But they include, as part of bundles, a physical book. So they're really shooting to get you for subscription only, which, as I've stated, checking my time, is a nice way that once you've paid for it all, it's like the Steam of Dungeons and Dragons. You keep paying for it, or else you lose it all. But as long as you pay, it's there. The difference is Steam is free. What WotC is doing with their platform is not. So the reason I say it's like what some places do already is a lot of these places just, they'll produce the PDF and then you only buy a PDF. And then you can get the PDF in the physical book, but you're not getting the physical book from the people that make it. They're only making the PDF. When you get the physical book, you're getting it printed by one of these print-on-demand places, and then it's mailed to you. The difference is, you have the PDF. They'll always give you a copy of the PDF. Drive-Through RPG, where you buy all this stuff, they even have a free app where it syncs with their library, and then it accurately records everything that you've ever bought on your account. And then you can just sync it up and download it all. You don't need any app to get that stuff. But if you're going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons in the future, you better pay a subscription or it all goes away. Now, one of the differences is they've always been weird about the way that they've done their books. If you've gone to their sites, it's like shoved you off to a third-party website where you would buy the books. So they never really sold them by themselves anyway. So in fashion, it's not really changed, but it is, of course, because you're getting sucked right into their little thing. Past that, though, I've been trying to think of creative stuff, doing my best, but I mean, I've been worried about my leg. I'm worried about my neck and my arm. I'm worried about what's happening with the home and what I'm going to be able to do. I'm worried about going homeless. I'm worried about all sorts of things. And I've got no end in sight on many of them. So yay. I love pressure. Anyway, though, I wish to thank each and every person that has ever watched. It is appreciated. If you watched to the end, thumbs up, thank you. Again, greatly, greatly appreciated. I wish I had more I could talk about. I wish I didn't have all this stress where there's just static and panic, and then what's left is like how to live my life, and then what little bit of that is left is, oh, there's some creative stuff too I can work on. And that's all that's left. It's mostly static and panic with just mental and physical paralysis. Yay! Oh well, life is life. Anyway, though, hopefully you're going to have a great day, because I'm going to do what I got to do, and hopefully I ain't going to have to go too many places for too long. Joy. And hopefully things will be very, very good for everybody. I'm not even going to end this the way I normally do, because I can't remember it. And again, I worry about dementia and such like that. Every time I have a cognition change, or I have difficulty remembering something, I worry. 15% of, I think it's the world population, if not that, at least 15% of the population in the United States will end up suffering from some form of dementia that will facilitate their needing to be facilitated in a facility where you will need nursing home type care, or you're just going to die of whatever it is that's happening to you. Some of us are very unlucky in that fashion, and I'm very, very sorry, Nex or EH, you've had a very bad life as well, and I'm very sorry. But while only 15% of the population suffers from these things, I worry about that. Like I say, with every change in cognition, I'm like, oh no. So, yay. Still though, before I squeeze this thing to pieces, because it is my original controller on my original PlayStation 4 Pro. So yay. Anyway, off to an awkward sort of fading out end, as I've been doing of late. So have a good day.